All right, we've talked sufficiently about editing stuff, some advanced editing tips. Now we're going to get into Audiosuite processing. So, and this is going to be the start of our general effects processing conversation. So, Audiosuite is a menu in Pro Tools. I think I'm in Pro Tools. Here we are. Audiosuite right here is a menu in Pro Tools that is file-based effects processing. And what that means is that we select a file here, we go to the Audiosuite menu, and we choose a process that we want. And let's just do that straight up. So I've got a conga here. So I've got this conga track, but let's say, I don't know, I want to add some distortion to it. So, and I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to duplicate that. Oops, I'm in slit mode. So I've got two of them side by side here. Cool, and I'm just going to add one with effects and one without. So first step, I highlight the audio clip. It could also be a selection, if that works for you. I'm just going to highlight the whole clip here. I'm going to go to the Audiosuite, and I'm just going to add harmonics to it, which is the same thing as distortion. So harmonic, and I'm going to try to stay very standard. I believe you guys have Sans Amp. Where's my Sans Amp here? You should have Sans Amp. Sans Amp's a great distortion plugin. So I open up the Sans Amp here. And you can see it says Audiosuite up here, and I might just go through the steps. So make a selection, go to Audiosuite menu, bring up the effect, and then you can play back here. Just solo it. And then I'm going to go to a preset here. That sounds cool. And then what do we do? Render it. We'll do that again, so we'll come back to it. So now here's my unaffected one. So now this file, I've created a new file here in my clip list that appends the file name. Here, let me go over here. That appends the file name with the Audiosuite. So this is the Sans Amp. So the original one was right here, I believe, or Congolese 1, and then I affected it with that, just so you see that it appends the file name. I might say reverb or whatever the Audiosuite abbreviation is. So does that make sense? So now I've created a brand new file. I've rendered a brand new file with this distortion on there. Here's the original one. Right? So that's how the Audiosuite menu works. And let's just contrast that with our inserts here. So I've got 3 tracks here, and I inserted a deverb plugin on the first track. And now that has reverb on it, right? I could drag that over to my cowbell track. And now my cowbell track, even though it's called bass, it has reverb on it. So this would be real-time effects. And that's the majority of how we're going to be doing this. But in this particular assignment, we're not going to be using any of these types of plugins. We're going to be using them from the Audiosuite menu. And again, the step, let's do this again. I'm going to affect this track here, but let's take off that reverb, command click. There we go. Right, let's do the step again. So make a selection of a clip, or it could be, let's do a portion of it now. Let's do that portion of it. And I'm going to, let's add some reverb here. I'm going to add deverb. I'm going to change my wet dry. So Audiosuite menu, preview that. It's a little bit washed out. So I'm going to kind of, you can also find some presets here. Change the wet dry. And render it. There we go. So it made it a lot quieter, so maybe I'll just bring that up a little bit. But here it is Avid, which means I'm going to play the dry and then the wet. And it goes back to the other one, right? So now this file is a brand new file that it rendered to the Audiosuite menu. So just to wrap this up, we have the Audiosuite menu effects, which are file-based effects you add to your selections or of your clips, right? That is to be contrasted with these real-time or AAX Avid Audio Extensions, which are added as track inserts and will, can be turned on and off. That can be dynamically changed. That can be automated. So we're not using these Avid audio extensions as inserts. We are using the Audiosuite menu. But let me show you, just so you can see, a lot. If you install a plugin, oftentimes they will run as Audiosuite. So you can see this one is the Audiosuite one, right? Because it has things here where I can render the file. But it looks identical to this one, which is an insert. See, it has pretty much identical effects. This one is file-based from the Audiosuite. This one is as a real-time plugin, as an Avid audio extension. So oftentimes when you install these plugins, they will have both versions of them. But in this assignment, we're just doing the file-based. So that's just how to use it, right? So let's do it again. Let's keep on reviewing this, how we do it. Let's try a different one here. Let's try reverse. I'm going to go to other, and let's go to reverse. This is a very basic one. Something is selected here. It's selected. I preview it. There's no settings on this one. You just kind of reverse it or render it. Now this one's backwards. Cool. Let's line these up here, and let's reverse this one now. Render that one. Right? So we're getting psychedelic here. So we understand how this works. So again, you can't preview the file by playing it back. Make sense? You have to click on this little preview button here in the Audiosuite window to hear back what you're doing, and then you render it. Okay? Great.